Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. The Cowboys were able to take care of job one in this NFL offseason, have a coach, hiring new guy Brian Schottenheimer in what was largely viewed as an uninspiring pick to replace Mike McCarthy. Realistically, though, the new coach won't matter much if they don't significantly upgrade the roster heading into 2025. That will mean a much more aggressive and serious approach to free agency than we've seen from the Cowboys in recent years. The front office will need to be creative with handling the payroll for current and new players, and imaginative with filling critical roles. This will especially be true for the offense and the team's utter lack of weapons available to quarterback Dak Prescott. The Cowboys are too reliant on star receiver CeeDee Lamb. As it stands, Brandon Cooks is the Cowboys' number 2, and is heading into free agency. It's hard to imagine that Cooks will be back, at age 31 and coming off an injury-racked season. The team has given chances to Jalen Tolbert, who is useful, but not a number 2. And there is a chance that Jonathan Mingo, acquired at last year's trade deadline, could snap out of his career-long funk and become productive. With that in mind, the folks at the Cowboys analysis site Blogging the Boys have an ideal target in free agency, and it is a guy who would, no doubt, like to come to Dallas, star receiver Stefon Diggs, who spent last season with the Texans before suffering a torn ACL in late October. Diggs, of course, is the brother of Trayvon Diggs, the Cowboys' star defensive back who is also coming off of knee surgery, and probably won't be ready for the start of the season. Still, the Diggs brothers have long wanted to play together, and with Stefon Diggs hitting free agency, now is the time. The site's Brian Martin writes in an article titled, Dallas Cowboys 2025 Free Agent Wishlist, Offensive Edition, Together at Last in Dallas? Stefon and Trayvon Diggs would love nothing more than to play together with the Cowboys, and as fate would have it, it could be mutually beneficial for all parties concerned. Dallas needs to upgrade the WR2 position behind CeeDee Lamb, and Stefon has the talent to do just that. He is coming off a season-ending knee injury, but is expected to be back to 100% for training camp. His ability to be a threat in the passing game at all 3 levels of the field would be a significant upgrade to Dallas' aerial attack. The question, of course, is whether the Cowboys can create the cap space by restructuring and reconfiguring deals before free agency hits. That has not, to put it mildly, been a strong suit of this organization. Diggs signed a 1-year, $22 million contract with Houston last year. Pro Football Focus projects Diggs to warrant a 1-year deal worth $16 million, while Spotrac has him at a bit more of a value, worthy of a 1-year, $13.5 million deal. Diggs is just 2 years removed from a run of 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons and 4 straight years with 100-plus catches. He's made 4 Pro Bowls and 2 All-Pro teams. The injury is a concern, but given his upside if he comes back healthy, he could be a major value in Dallas. Darren Woodson, being denied Hall of Fame is painful once again. Once again, Darren Woodson will have to wait to hear his name called in Canton. The former Cowboys safety finished as a Hall of Fame finalist for the 3rd time in his 17th year of eligibility, but hasn't crossed the finish line just yet. I gotta deal with it, Woodson said. I mean, it just is what it is, man. It sucks. I wish I could walk in and grab that gold jacket. It's painful, man, it really is. While some would say that even being a finalist to get into the Hall of Fame is an accomplishment in and of itself, it isn't enough for Woodson, and he views it as a failure. I felt like I worked hard on my game, at the same time, it's out of my control, Woodson said. I'm not controlling the situation, but it still feels like failure to me. With that, Woodson carries a lot of the weight on his shoulders and feels like he could have done a better job during his playing days of controlling what he could control and making a stronger case from himself to be considered in the Hall of Fame. I had plenty of opportunities when I was playing to take it out of the writer's hands and to control the narrative as far as my play, Woodson said. And not only that, but having conversations with my position coaches to play 1 position instead of 3 positions. I could have controlled that narrative. Even still, Woodson's resume is amongst some of the best in the franchise's illustrious history. He earned 5 Pro Bowls and 3 first-team All-Pro honors, spending his entire 12-year career with the Cowboys. He set the record for most tackles in franchise history in 2002 with 1,350. Woodson also ranks second in team history in special teams tackles, with 134. Woodson took a backseat to other high-profile players in his career as the Cowboys were winning Super Bowls in the 90s. Ironically enough, the day he set the team record for most tackles in 2002, Woodson's moment was overshadowed by Emmitt Smith, who became the NFL's all-time leading rusher that same day. Drafted in 1992 as a hybrid defensive player, having played both linebacker and safety at Arizona State, Woodson carried over that unique skill set to the Cowboys, where he lined up in various roles from both safety spots to nickel linebacker and even slot cornerback. Woodson earned a Super Bowl ring in each of his first 2 seasons, and is the only player in franchise history to play for 5 different head coaches. Cowboys' Micah Parsons reveals horrible truth on Derrick Henry. The 3 seasons preceding the 2024 campaign left many Dallas Cowboys fans wondering how different decisions could have led to better outcomes. Each of those 12 to 5 years ended in playoff heartbreak and an extension of a decades-long conference championship drought. Following this 7-10 season, there is not much else to think about. The Cowboys simply lacked the talent to compete and could not withstand the burden of a list of key injuries over the course of 18 weeks. If the season had gone differently, it would be because of multiple moves at various positions, not just one decision. However, one move, or lack thereof, continues to surface in the minds of the fan base. Derrick Henry, who owned property near the team's headquarters, hit the free agency market and seemed an ideal fit for the Cowboys. Instead, the front office chose to go cheap and sign Ezekiel Elliott. The move is one that directs to the overall frustration with the all-in promise that never came to fruition. But Cowboys defensive star Micah Parsons believes that even that big of a move would not have salvaged the team's season. "I'm afraid Derrick Henry wouldn't even have helped us," Parsons said to Adam Shine of Mad Dog Sports Radio. "The hypothetical can sound pretty good, but we struggled so much that I don't even know if Derrick could have helped us." It would have been another Tennessee Titan year for him. Henry got his revenge on the Cowboys, pummeling their defense on the ground to the tune of 151 yards and 2 touchdowns on 6 yards per carry in the Ravens and Cowboys Week 3 matchup. Despite Henry's brilliance this season, one move in fact would not have saved the Cowboys. Injuries to Dak Prescott, Zach Martin and Parsons himself greatly inhibited those prospects earlier in the season. But the frustration of Cowboys faithful stems from the ineptitude the franchise had in constructing their roster for the 2024 season. Those feelings are heightened when they see their hated rival get the payoff for a similar move. The Philadelphia Eagles signed Saquon Barkley out of free agency, and he has become an MVP candidate while leading the team to the Super Bowl. Dallas had the chance for a similar player, but instead balked at the idea and watched Jerry Jones liken the feeble Elliott to Henry during the season. So Parsons may be right about what a world with Henry would have looked like, yet he is missing the mark on the fans' nerves about how far the Cowboys are willing to extend to build a true contender. And you, fan? What do you think of Derrick Henry's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.